Hello everybody, welcome to OCHD and welcome to another Jumpooty Heroes news video. Today we're going to be talking about the new characters that were revealed last night, and of course the thing I mentioned we'd be talking about today, the responding to inquiries thing that the devs posted on their website. We have actually also had the level 15 character buffs. I think I'll probably talk about those tomorrow because there's quite a lot to go through there. But starting off with the new characters, unfortunately not the most exciting reveals. We had two characters from To Love Ru, Haruna Sairenji and Nana, what's her middle name? I don't remember. Nana Asta Devaluk. And, well, the sprites look very good, don't get me wrong. I said the same thing when Lala came out. I think they've put a lot of effort in. I would actually say Nana's sprite almost looks better than Lala's. Like, Lala's look like a big upgrade on her original sprite, but look at Nana's. The sprite detail's actually a lot better, I think. Could be wrong there. I don't know if it's like actually newer somehow or what, but does look better at first glance at least. And these appear to be New Year seasonal units. Now, we have had New Year seasonal units in the past, but only farmable. We haven't had like a gacha specific seasonal New Year unit, so I don't know whether that is going to be the case or whether they're just going to be chucked into the general pool, or maybe these are both farmables. I don't know, but certainly interesting. I think, yeah, okay, both of these characters did need new versions, I'll give you that one, but we know that To Love Ru is getting a crossover event later this year. Admittedly, these characters might not be featured in that. It might focus more on characters like Momo and Yami. We might even get stuff from like To Love Ru Darkness. There's still some characters that are, I don't know, potentially playing a role in that haven't necessarily been featured here. But it's not super exciting when you see the same series over and over. And we've just had two events back to back with To Love Ru, and we know we've got another one coming up later. So it's not great. It's not great. And the other thing is, it seems like this event is maybe a little bit on the shorter side, and that makes me think that we've maybe got 4 more characters left to reveal. So, assuming out of those 4 characters, 2 of those are Bondo and Roboco from me and Roboco, that just leaves us with 2 more characters. And we don't know what those will be, to be fair. That could be something exciting, and maybe they'll surprise us, and maybe there'll be more than 2. I'm thinking at the moment those 2, it'll probably be like the whatever Naruto and Boruto are countering. My guess at the moment is they're just gonna cobble together like a young Sasuke and Sarada for them to counter, which, as far as I know, is not a thing that's happened in the manga or the anime. But at this point, like, who cares? And then one other character, which I'm assuming will be unrelated to any of the other stuff going on. It'll just be like somebody they had ready from another series. I don't know. But the weird part about this, assuming these characters are, one of them is like a seasonal gacha unit, maybe it's like a standalone gacha, or I don't know. Assuming one of them is, that would mean that To Love Ru would now have 4 seasonal gacha units. We would have the Rito Yuki cross-dress event one. We'd have the Christmas Lala one. We would have the Summer Momo, and then we would have for New Year, whichever one of these 2 was gacha. And technically, if the event was seasonal as well, then that would also count as a seasonal, just not gacha. So that would be quite impressive, actually, because not many series have that many seasonal characters. If you're a fan of the series, it's quite unfortunate for you, I think, because seasonal characters are some of the hardest to get your hands on in a lot of cases. You have to summon like at least 5 multis on some banner that's only available once a year. But I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. So far, I am whelmed. I am whelmed by these announcements. Nothing incredible yet. I've seen a lot of people very happy about these 2 being added, at least on Twitter. Japanese fans seem to be pretty happy with this combo. And obviously people are delighted to finally see Light and Ryuk, but so far, nothing really getting me excited, except Roboco, of course, and we don't really know what the deal is with that, but we'll see soon enough. Moving on from this, I suppose. So now let's talk about the player inquiry stuff. We have been told that there was going to be a live stream, or at least it seems there was going to be a live stream for New Year, and that looks like it's been cancelled. The next live stream most likely will be the 5th anniversary, which is like 4 months away, which is quite a while. And so they've said they're going to do these regular posts again on the blog, letting us know all the updates that they're working on. Now, I have a little bit of a conspiracy theory that the reason they stopped these in the first place is because they are spending so much time working on the My Ship update that it became illogical to keep updating people on other updates they're working on because they weren't making any progress. And so it would have just been the same thing every month. This update we said we're working on, yeah, it's coming later. This other update, yeah, it's coming later. And it just would have been the same thing every month. So I think now we've sort of moved on from the My Ship era, thank God. They do seem to be planning some updates and stuff for it, but I'm hoping they're finished with that. And now we're working on other new updates that need to be added to the game. And so they can give us this information more regularly. I'm hoping this is going to be a monthly thing and it's going to be consistent every month. We're going to get an update and they're going to tell us what's going on in the game. Even moving from now until the end of January, when we get the end of January updates, there's a lot of stuff they have planned in January, and they've made some changes to the roadmap and stuff like that. But I want them to keep us updated with the things they're working on, and hopefully they can be consistent with that. Now, regarding the handling of character duplicates, we had the very unfortunate level 15 update that has become quite a controversial update. Loads of people very upset with how that's been handled, mainly because they just straight up lied. I'm not gonna mince my words on this one. They said it was to help breathe life into old characters that needed buffs. The buffs that they were giving weren't high enough from their, they do a set of buffs every month. The buffs given there weren't sufficient enough. And so they were going to give these characters buffs by letting them go up to level 15. They would essentially allow them to change their skills and become a lot more powerful. But that's not true. I mean, sure, at some point they are going to buff some of these older limiteds from 2018, early 2019. But the thing that they said about it's for older characters makes no sense, because the limiteds that they have given it to so far, and the Musos and stuff, were all characters that were fairly strong anyway. And they've even given it to some new characters. You can't say the new characters need a buff because their skills are determined at the point of release. So you've buffed them at the point of release. It makes no sense. And I think it's a very cynical update. I know the devs want more money, but I've said so many times in the past, they don't know what they're doing. They need to bring in an expert from an outside, like a third party, to come in and fix their problems, and they're not doing that. So this update, it was not good. It was not good, but they released another one, or they're working on another one, I should say. And this other update is going to allow you to sell character duplicates that you have. Say, for example, you've got a character who's level 15, 15, 15. At this point, that's quite unlikely, but let's assume you have a character that's all level 15s, and then you pull a duplicate of them. Well, what are you going to do with it? You can feed it. You're not going to get any additional skill benefits. You'll get a little bit of extra luck, but realistically, that's pointless until you can get them to max luck, and that's going to take you probably years and years and years. But you can sell them, and at the moment, you would only get gold and putty trade medals for that, which is not really worth it. So what do? Well, the option they're going to give you is a special shop and a special currency. You sell the limited dupes, and I assume in addition to the gold and putty medals, you'll get this third currency. And this third currency you'll be able to spend in a special shop, and there'll be stuff like gacha tickets, choice tickets, jewels, summoning items, all kinds of stuff. I'm thinking it's similar to the Rayleigh store in OPTC. Essentially allowing you to if you get a bunch of limited duplicates, you can sell them, and you can get potentially more limiteds, more other good stuff. I think one of the big things will be like jewels. Like, if you get a duplicate of a character, you've already got 15, 15, 15. If I could sell that and I can get maybe like a few jewels with the points I earn from that, then essentially I'm taking that duplicate of a character that's already maxed, and I can almost use it as a duplicate of a character that's not maxed. So that seems like a cool idea on paper, but realistically, while I think this is going to be one of those things that's like good to have, but most people are never going to need it, with the introduction of the level 15 update, I feel like not that many people are going to have limited dupes, except for the Omega whales. And so I'm hoping that even though this update they specifically said limited grade characters, I'm hoping that you'll be able to sell hero grade characters for this currency, and also like Muso grade characters and stuff like that, with the idea being the lower rarity characters don't give as much of the currency, the higher rarity characters obviously give more of the currency. And I mean, I don't know, they haven't said that that's the case, but I'm hoping that that's the case, because that is the case in other games. And then, you know, say for example, for every 10 standard gacha characters I sell, maybe that's the equivalent of selling one limited grade character. And maybe for every like 10 limited grade characters, that's the equivalent of Musa. I'm trying to balance that out in my head. The numbers probably aren't quite right there, but you get what I'm trying to say. Make it so that I can sell any gacha duplicates that I have that I don't need, and I can get this currency and I can trade it in for goodies. That would make the most sense to me. As it stands, I don't know how to feel about this update until I see at least a little bit more information. But on paper, as they have currently suggested it to us, it's probably something that's just going to kind of exist, and I'm probably not going to use that much. Then we have the other thing. That they said they're trying to revive characters with the character duplicates level 15 system, all this, and now we have the hidden potential panel system, which they told us about during the 4.5 anniversary live stream. We've got a little bit more information here, but actually we don't really have any extra information, because it's kind of just the same thing that they mentioned before. They're going to try and give buffs to old hero grade units, and they did say limited grade units as well. I don't think they're going to give any buffs to like event characters through this. I've always said I would like an event grade character similar to like, if you ever played Dokkan when they released like the LR Super Saiyan Goku, like the first free to play LR character, and it was something that you had to farm a lot, you had to work hard to like max him out, but if you did max him out, he was actually quite strong for a free to play unit. Like, I would like to see something like that here. We have had similar sort of things with like the explosive breakthrough characters, where you like slowly work away at it. And you know, I guess you could say sort of like with Genkai Battle, and sort of like with Sparks of a Lost Civilization. But I don't feel like those have been executed particularly well, and I feel like they could have another go at it. Because similar, I mean, this is what they're basically doing here. They're basically having another go at the Pooty Trade Medal store. They're just going to do it slightly differently, because they, at this point, I think they feel like the way they've balanced that is not good enough as a response to people having duplicates of limited grade units and whatever. So they're going to release a new store. That's what it seems like to me. So this update, my personal opinion on it so far is I actually kind of don't want to say too much, because they haven't given us much more information than what we already had. And the bottom line is, potentially it could be good. But I mean, the devs have messed up so many updates recently. It's very hard for me to go into this very positively. I'm hoping that this is one of those things where if you have invested a lot into a character, they can be a lot stronger, and they can like be relevant in say like the current meta. Like, say for example, take this Luffy. We just recently had like a red standard gacha Lala come out for Christmas. If I could do the panel system on this Luffy, and sure it takes like a lot of resources or whatever, but I max him out, if he was as strong as that Lala, some people might say that's a bit too much, but if I've had to invest a hell of a lot into this character to max him out, and I've done that over a period of time, and he's like my favorite character, and now he's maxed out, I'd say that's perfectly reasonable. And over time, I'm sure they will give this panel system update to other characters, newer characters, and eventually we'll hit a point where they give it to that Lala and she'll be even stronger. So I don't know what to think about this update until I hear more. I'm a little bit concerned about this key here. And the only reason I say that is because they have something similar in One Piece Treasure Cruise. There's like a key on certain characters to limit break them to their full potential. And in order to get those keys, you have to play a hell of a lot of treasure map. And it's just a nightmare. You have to invest so much time in the game to get like one key for one character. And it does become a question of like, is this worth it? And I'm a little bit worried that they might do the same thing here. It might be like, oh, I'll get like 50 million points in Unity Battle and you get like one key. And you like, who do you use it on? Which characters deserve it? Whatever. So, until we hear more, I don't want to cast too much judgment. But yes, I do have mixed feelings about this update. I think it could be good though. Potentially, it could be good. They have an update regarding Tower bonus weeks. It doesn't really affect me too much because I don't care too much about Tower, but they basically said they're going to remove the point bonus. So when they have a bonus week, it's literally going to be a stat bonus for those characters to encourage people to use those characters, but you're not going to get a straight up point benefit from using those characters. So it sort of reduces the encouragement to pull for the newest, bestest characters just for that one Tower week. I don't know if people are actually doing that or whether people just happen to incorporate new characters that they did happen to pull into their teams, but ultimately I think this is probably a good change because it puts a bit less focus on the new characters because they are also cutting down on the number of bonus weeks. There's going to be more standard Tower weeks. So yeah, just in general, a lot less focus on the newer characters. And I think they also said something around here about they're going to have a wider spread of bonus characters. So say, for example, if a World Trigger event comes up, it wouldn't just be characters from the new World Trigger event that are boosted. It would be basically all World Trigger characters, which is how they used to do it in the past, and they stopped doing that. I'm hoping they're going to start doing that again. So ultimately doesn't affect me that much, but probably a good change all in all. Then the problems with receiving campaign rewards, this is something that really stressed me out. It was just another one of those things that I knew I was going to have to make some sort of post explaining people what they may have to do in order to fix it, because the devs had done a poor job of telling people what they had to do to fix it. I am fed up with them using line integration and it being broken, and them insisting on continuing to use it and failing to provide a suitable and I would say adequate response when things go wrong. When things have gone as wrong as they have in December for this game, most other games would give you considerable compensation. People almost losing their accounts, people actually losing their accounts, people not being able to pick up lucrative campaign rewards because the links just don't work. And the devs just didn't really care. And I think that was so poor from them. And this campaigns thing is just... I've made a guide, and if you're still having problems with this, by all means, link in the description, go check it out and read through and see if you can respond to the line inquiry form. Give them the information they need. They should be able to fix the problem for you, but it's not good. And if you're one of the people who... I think one of the things they said was it should fix itself over time, which doesn't help you if you've missed out on rewards. But if you're one of the people that it is now fixed for, you can go to the link that's there, and there are some gift links in there. You can click those and receive your rewards. Those should have been extended. They haven't extended all the rewards as far as I'm aware. So there may be some you're still unable to receive. If you look in the Discord, there might be some you're not able to collect. And I don't know what to say. The devs have just messed this up completely. And also, why have they time restricted the rewards so much? Like, why is it such a big deal? Why can't you have it last like a month? I know you're trying to encourage people to come on the game every day, but put the rewards in the gift box every day if you want people to come on the game every day. It's just silly. Regarding the archives of previous live streams, the old VODs are being taken down or have been taken down over the last, I don't know how long. They've just been periodically taking them down. And that's due to the contract with their hosts and guests. And I kind of wish they told us in advance that the VODs would be taken down at some point, so I could have archived the ones. I mean, I guess it's not that important, but I do like to keep these things if I can. It's a shame, and I guess moving forward I'll just have to remember to download them immediately after their broadcast. But for me, while it's a shame, I guess it's not that big a deal. Just would have been nice to be told ahead of time. Tower emblem rewards being slightly adjusted. I don't really care about this update. I don't know why it matters that much, but they are changing the rank distribution for the tower emblem rewards again. Okay, cool, whatever. Regarding the frequency of live streams and responses to player inquiries. Now, they said due to the current climate, it's difficult to hold live stream events as frequently as they used to. Now, the current climate, I assume they are talking about COVID. I think there are still a lot of restrictions imposed in Japan that maybe aren't as prevalent in other parts of the world anymore. But it could also be a case of the current situation at the company. They're currently restructuring the company, which is obviously going to make a lot of changes for who's available to do what. And I think definitely there's been a change of focus for the dev team. Updates. There are a lot more updates being focused on outside of just, you know, they spent so much time focusing on my ship. Now there's all these other updates they're focusing on. And I feel like if they did do a live stream right now, the comments would almost entirely be, where is Jujutsu Kaisen? Where are all the rubies? I lost my account. I can't collect these campaign rewards. Like, you're not going to have much meaningful conversation with the fans. So that's also sort of the current climate of their relationship with the fans is quite poor. So I don't imagine it would be that worthwhile making a live stream and just having people complaining to them. But again, that's their own fault. That's on them. That's not on us as the fans. And so they said they're gonna do this this blog post thing more frequently. Hopefully that is true. Hopefully we do see that regularly. And they said they aren't satisfied with this solution. They're gonna try and find another way to do it. I don't really know what that other way could be. They might do, instead of a live stream, like a video broadcast or something like that. But I think the bottom line is, as long as they keep doing at least something like this blog post, as long as they keep in contact with us in some way to let us know that they are listening to player responses and they are working on things that players are specifically asking for and having problems with, then I think it's okay. Like it. If you can't do a live stream, that's unfortunate, but ultimately, as long as you let us know you are working on this stuff, it's fine. Regarding recent changes to the in-game news section, I said when this dropped I wasn't a fan of it. I've kind of gotten used to it at this point, and especially the fact that you can open blog links within the news and it doesn't like navigate you away from the app. You can literally read their blog posts in-app. I actually think that's quite a cool update, but there are still some glitches and some issues with it. Some people, the aspect ratio is messed up, and things aren't appearing the way they're supposed to. So hopefully they can fix that at some point. And while I'm not a fan of the change in the visuals of it, I preferred the way it looked before. Ultimately, it's a small gripe. I don't really understand why they had to make the change. They've tried to explain it here, but realistically, what does it mean? Oh, there's a specification change for all line games. So what does that mean exactly? What does that mean? All line games. Disney Tsum Tsum. They had to change the way their news section looked, did they? Okay, cool. Regarding the rewards available from exchanges, they really don't update the stores that often. You know, the Soldier's Soul store hasn't been updated in ages. The Medal store hasn't really been updated. I mean, they do add like stamps and stuff to it, but other than that, like, they don't really update it that much. The tower medal store is at least updated regularly, but it's not really like it's not really super regular. It's like once every 6 months or something. And the Sparks of a Lost Civilization game mode, kind of similar thing. So they said they're going to be looking into updating the lineup of rewards when appropriate. What that means exactly, we will see. Hopefully that means soon for some of these, because some of these haven't been updated in so long. And they're trying to look for more ways to implement jump souls and books being worth using, because so many people have such a massive surplus of them. And I think they're talking about this panel system that we mentioned before, somehow using the books and jump souls so that you can work your way through your surplus. But I think that the problem with that is the way you would balance that means that you either have veteran players just burning through their excess down to 0, and if that's the case, that means that newer players are basically not going to be able to participate in this game mode, because they're just not going to have enough of what they need. And it's going to be so hard for them to catch up to where the veteran players are with their surpluses. Or you make it so that it doesn't use that many, and then eventually newer players can get there, but then veteran players, it's just not going to matter. They're going to use hardly any of them as before. Or you make it so that at first it starts to burn through their supplies, but then you start giving out larger quantities of the item, but then you're in the same situation with Limit Break, where at first it felt like it was using a lot of gold, but now I get so much gold, it doesn't feel like a lot of gold. So it's very difficult to balance that, but I guess they can make that change if they want. It's fine. But yes, they're looking to update the exchanges, and I think the exchanges do need an update, so power on. Please give us more information on this very soon, because at the moment you haven't really told me much. Then regarding the implementation of an account transfer system other than line, the password issue system is going to be released late February, early March. Thank the Lord. This is something that should have happened much sooner. It's finally coming, and I will wait and see a little bit, because this also could be a terrible system depending on how they handle it, but in an ideal world, this will be far superior to the line transfer system, because the line transfer system is the worst I've experienced on any game. So hopefully this works. Hopefully they do this properly. Then regarding the difficulty level and rewards from Super Dimensional Battle, they've got an update for Super Dimensional Battle coming mid to late January. We already knew about this, and they still haven't told us really anything about it. I don't know what they mean about difficulty level and rewards, because the rewards were pretty good, although kind of generic. It was just kind of like the same thing every day. And the difficulty level, I don't know how you really change the difficulty level, but okay, we'll see. And then additional information, they've received a lot of responses from players about the amount of rubies being distributed and the format/frequency of recent gacha featuring strong units. We will be addressing the situation in a live stream at a later date. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Keeping in contact with the players is fine, but with something like this, you could just come out and say, look, it is what it is. Or you could just, not say anything. But when you come out and say, we'll be addressing this at a later date, they did this before. And then on the live stream, do you know what they said? They basically said, well, you don't have to summon on every gacha. And then that was about all they had to say about the matter. And then things did not improve. They got worse after that. So, look, I don't really care what they have to say. I want them to fix it. Regardless of what the situation is, it's a bad situation, not just for the players, but for the developers. They are making less money than they used to make. They need to go back to making as much money as they were making before. They need to fix the system as it is. And it genuinely does not matter what they say on that live stream, unless what they say is, sorry, we messed up, and we're going to start giving out a load of rubies now, and we're going to make better sales packs, and we're going to sort out the gacha, and everything's going to be fixed. We promise you we're definitely going to do it. Which is not what they're going to say. They're going to make some sort of excuse that I don't want to hear. I don't care. I want you to fix the problem. I don't want to hear an excuse. But the fact that they're making us wait until the 5th anniversary to hear whatever horrible excuse they have, it's just pointless. It's just absolutely pointless. And then they said we're going to take this opportunity to inform you of some of the changes to the roadmap. The Haikyuu Feature Festival has been delayed. It's going to be held in mid-April. I don't know the reason for this for sure, but my only guess is that the assistant producer who has been in charge of a lot of the the sports series and stuff that we've gotten recently, I assume that she was in charge of this, and I assume that she made the decision or asked the producer to change this event, either push it back or, you know, just make changes to the actual content of the event so that it could line up better with the release of the new season of the anime, and so that it could include characters that are specifically relevant to the upcoming season of the anime. Whether that's true or not, I mean, it's pure speculation. I have absolutely no idea, but that is my guess. Ultimately, all we know is it's been delayed until mid-April. So, as a result of that, they've had to change the rest of the roadmap. There is a Bobobo Feature Festival number 2. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the plan was for New Year, because it seems like Bobobo was integrated into some sort of ensemble for New Year, and now it's looking like Bobobo, I mean, they've specifically said it's going to be a feature festival, and they've had to change the content originally planned for the event. So I think it went from an ensemble to a feature festival. They took some units that they were maybe going to release later in the year, Bobobo units, and pushed them into this event to make it into a feature festival. And then they've used that to fill the hole left by Haikyuu. And so what they've done is they've made New Year into the start of January event, and then the Bobobo stuff that was supposed to be a part of that is now the second half of January. And then as a result, they've pushed JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 at the start of February, and the Mizuki Kawashita Sensei feature to mid-February. And now the gap that was left by Haikyuu is filled. I don't know what the end result is in this, because I feel like the New Year event might be a little bit sparse as a result of this, and potentially the Bobobo event might be a bit stretched out. I'm not too sure, but at least they've told us. At least they've told us, and we'll see. We will see. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will be back with more news probably tomorrow. So I will see you then.